First, the weather today, 28th of May. Over to Christy for today's weather report.
Well, the weather here in Ho Chi Minh City. It starts off warm and humid as per usual, and will have a top temperature of 34 degrees centigrade. There will be rain at around 2 o'clock this afternoon. We're expecting 3 centimeters on the city. It will brighten up after around an hour or so. The lowest temperature for the day will be 28 degrees centigrade. And back to the newsroom.
Thank you, Christy. Well, we have some interesting news for you today.
Yes, some very interesting news indeed.
The Earth is very active, and we are going to bring you information about what's happening around the world at the moment. First, we have Professors Mark and Julian, who are experts on the Earth's crust, to inform us about the basics.
The Earth's crust is like the skin of an apple. It's very thin compared to the other layers. It's about 8 kilometers thick under the oceans and about 32 kilometers thick under the continents. The plates, the pieces, the pieces are broken. Plates float on the mantle. Those are crust. It works like a huge jigsaw. Here's an example.
This is the theory of Pangea. Well, when you look at a few coincidences that are difficult to ignore. The eastern coast of South America fits perfectly like a puzzle into the western coast of Africa. At the same time, North America can be rotated slightly to fit comfortably next to Europe and Asia. The 7 continents basically float on the mantle which is much hotter and thicker material. The problem is it's not only the crust. The Earth is made up of layers. The first layer is the crust. The next layer is the mantle. And the center is the core.
Granite and basalt. The continental crust is made up of mostly of granite. The ocean crust is made out of volcanic lava rock called basalt.
Basaltic rocks of the ocean plates are much thicker and heavier than the granite rocks of the continental plates.
The mantle is the layer below the crust.
The mantle is 2,900 kilometers thick and is made out of hot, thick rocks.
The rocks even float like asphalt under a heavy weight. This is due to great temperature differences from
from the top to the bottom of the mantle.
The movement of the mantle is the reason that the plates of the earth move. The temperature varies from 1,400 degrees centigrade at the top to about 4,000 degrees centigrade at the bottom.
The core is so hot that rocks begin to melt.
The inner core has temperatures and pressures so great that metals are squeezed together and not able to move about like liquid, but are forced to vibrate in places as a solid. The inner core is about 6,000 kilometers beneath the crust and is about 1,200 kilometers thick.
To give you an idea of how hot that is, you can bake a loaf of bread in your oven at 180 degrees Celsius. Think about how hot 870 degrees is. At 870 degrees, rocks begin to melt.
Now what has all this got to do with the crust, the mantle, and core?
Well, because of the plates floating on the mantle, it can cause certain things to happen. We call this tectonic plate movement. The edges of these plates really move against each other or where tectonic plates have lots of activity, such as earthquakes, volcanoes, and mountain building. The tectonic plate move all the time, about 3 centimeters per year. The basic idea behind plate tectonics, there is 8 major plates on the surface of the Earth.
There are also bunches of minor plates. The plates are like the skin of the planet. They move around the planet.
When we say constantly moving, we meant centimeters each year. You can't watch it happen, or can you? You can watch it happen if you watch an earthquake.
Before we start talking about the volcanoes, tsunamis, and earthquakes, it is very important to know how they're formed.
So our group would like to give you some information about earthquakes. How earthquakes are formed.
The plates move towards, away from, or past each other.
As the plates move, they put forces on themselves and each other.
Don't forget a lot of earthquakes happen around the ring of fire. The damage caused by earthquakes also depends on the tectonic plate's depth.
Earthquakes involve the powerful movements of rocks in the Earth's crust. There's also very dangerous earthquakes around the world. Normally, in countries where earthquakes are continuous, they are more dangerous.
The most dangerous earthquake was reported in Chile.
It happened on 22nd May 1960 to 11 p.m. local time. As many as 6,000 people were killed. Many more would have been had it not been for Chile's preparation for earthquakes and the remote location of the point on the Earth's surface vertically above the focus of an earthquake.
Japan's earthquake. Why did the Japan earthquake hit Japan?
The reason that earthquake hit Japan is because Japan was on the edge of one of the
plates on Earth. In fact, every country on the edge of one of the plates on Earth, a very strong earthquake hits that country most often.
When did the earthquake happen?
The earthquake happened in year 1995 in a city in Japan called Kobe.
The specific date is January 17, 1995 at 5:46 a.m. Japan time.
We will be introducing the 2004 tsunami. Fun fact, did you know that a tsunami is caused by an earthquake? What is a tsunami? Tsunami is a Japanese word which means harbor wave. A tsunami is caused because of earthquakes, volcanoes, and other underwater explosions. When 13 countries were affected, including India, Indonesia, Malaysia, Maldives, Myanmar, Colombia, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. The biggest tsunami. On the 26th December 2004, a tsunami created in the Indian Ocean from an earthquake of a magnitude of 8.9. It was the biggest tsunami the world saw for the last 40 years. If you don't know what magnitude means, it means the strength of the earthquake.
What to do if a tsunami hits? You should always run uphill or naturally formed high ground. If you are too far, go into a tall and sturdy building. If not, cling onto something that floats.
Quiz time. What should you do if a tsunami hits? 1. Run like a maniac. 2. Stay calm. 3. Run in circles. And 4. Scream. Who thinks it's 1? Run like a maniac. Who thinks it's 2? Stay calm. Who thinks it's 3? Run in circles. Who thinks it's 4? Scream. The right answer is stay calm. Question 2. What country is prone to tsunamis? 1. Vietnam. 2. Singapore. 3. France. 4. Japan. Who thinks it's 1? Vietnam. Who thinks it's 2? Singapore. Who thinks it's 3? France. Who thinks it's 4? Japan. The last question. How is a tsunami formed? 1. When the sea is angry. 2. When the tectonic plates shift. 3. When explosion underwater. And 4. When it rains. Who thinks when the sea is angry? Who thinks when the tectonic plates shift? Who thinks it explosion underwater? Who thinks it's 4 when it rains? The right answer is when the tectonic plates shift and explode underwater. Today my group will talk about volcanoes.
But first, I will introduce my group. This is Madeline, this is Denny, this is Julie, and this is me, Gemma. I will be telling you about a volcano in Pompeii called Mount Vesuvius. Has anyone been to Pompeii? Mount Vesuvius is one of the world's most dangerous volcanoes, and it has erupted over 50 times. Thank you. Now over to Denny.
Did you know that the most dangerous things about volcanoes are the ashes and smoke?
Wow, that's amazing. Interesting. I'll tell you about the most active volcano in the world, Kilauea. Kilauea has erupted more than 60 times and is home to Pele, the goddess of fire.
Here's an example of a volcano.
Explode! Now Jane is going to tell you about where volcanoes are in Vietnam.
Normally, the
volcanoes in Vietnam are in the north, so don't worry, they are nowhere near Ho Chi Minh City.
Now we're going to have a quiz with 3 questions. First question is, how many times did Mount Vesuvius erupt? A, 1,000, B, 10, C, over 50 times, D, over 60 times. Who thinks A, 1,000 times? Who thinks B, 10 times? Who thinks C, over 50 times? And who thinks D, over 60 times?
If you chose C over 50 times, you are correct.
The second question is,
What are the 2 most dangerous things about volcanoes?
A, the smoke and lava, B, the ashes and smoke, C, the mud and ashes, D, the lava and mud. Who thinks A, the smoke and lava? Who thinks B, the ashes and smoke? Who thinks C, mud and the ashes? Who thinks D, lava and mud? Who chose B, ashes and smoke are correct. Last question is, name 2 of the volcanoes we introduced. A, Mount Fuji and St. Helens. B, Mount Vesuvius and St. Helens. C, Mount Vesuvius and Kilauea. D, Kilauea and Mount Fuji. Who thinks A, Mount Fuji and St. Helens? Who thinks B, Mount Vesuvius and St. Helens? Who thinks Mount Vesuvius and Kilauea? And who thinks D, Kilauea and Mount Fuji? C, Mount Vesuvius and Kilauea is correct.
There is an outside broadcaster reporter who is with a witness of an actual earthquake. Over to Ben, our live reporter.
Ben, what can your witness tell us?
Good morning, Mrs. Sarah Blackwood. I just want you to tell us exactly what happened when you were in an earthquake. How did you feel?
Well, it happened so suddenly. First, I remember there was a loud rumbling noise. Then a few of the kids screamed. I felt a little confused and quite scared.
What did you do when it happened?
Well, my friends and I were in the university cafeteria, and we scrambled out of our chairs and we hid under the tables.
What did the earthquake feel like?
It felt like riding a giant wave in the ocean. The floors were rolling up and down. We had windows that were 2 and 3 stories high, and they rolled and buckled. Strangely, nothing broke.
How long did the earthquake last?
For about 10 seconds, but there were a series of aftershocks or mini earthquakes. Each time one of these happened, we were startled and we ran for cover.
Were there any injuries at that time or anyone you know get hurt?
There were about 4,000 people injured, but luckily none of my friends were hurt.
How bad were the buildings destroyed?
Well, near the marina where the water is, about 15 beautiful 20th century homes collapsed or burned because of exploding gas pipes. Part of a bridge collapsed, and 5 schools were very badly damaged. There were sand volcanoes, landslides, and ground ruptures.
Thank you very much for letting us know about your experience of an earthquake. It must have been very frightening for you. It's back to Zin and Lee in the
the newsroom.
Well, thank you, Ben and Mrs. Blatter, for your experience of an earthquake.
Thank you for watching and see you next time.
Audience, thank you, parents, for coming in and watching. Welcome, great. I think they deserve another round of applause.